I was driving Uber because we ain't make much money in the CFL. So like the checks were getting a year check that I was making in the CFL was like half of a game check in the NFL now. So I'm making ends meet, like getting cash here and there, and I'm just like grinding, like eating clean, drinking a gallon of water every day, like doing 3 workouts a day. Like I'll do my paid training session, and I'll do my own 2 sessions just on my own. I go back in that 2018 season and have the best season of my life. Like I'm so locked in. I don't care about nothing else in the world. I'm not watching NFL football. I'm only watching CFL football. I'm only watching who's the best linebacker in CFL. All right, boom. All right, I'm better than him. All right, now I'm gonna be the best linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like in the CFL, I'm gonna be the best defensive player in the CFL. I want to be the best player in the CFL.
So I mean, one thing too, like for people to listen, like the ratio in the CFL is what? How many percentage of Canadian players you see on the field?
You 7 have to start.
Yeah.
So you can mix it up. You can have 5 on offense, 2 on defense, but you just shake it up however you want to shake it up. So the reason why people kind of bash the CFL, like American players kind of bash the CFL, is because, as crazy as it sounds, the competition is actually higher there than the NFL.
All right, guys, welcome to an episode of the Myokinetix podcast. Today we have a great friend, Sam McGuavin. He is a professional football player. He's currently playing for the New York Jets, but he has such an incredible story that I really need him to just share it, and that's why he's here. So, Sam, welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. Finally, I'm here.
I know, man. It's been a long time coming. So, the one thing I really got to get into is your journey to the league, bro, because, I mean, we've been blessed with working with so many different guys, and they all have different paths. And your path, after I talked to you first time we worked together, I was like, it's extremely inspiring.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a little bit. So when did you start playing football?
I started playing actually when I was in the 4th grade. That was my first time like attempting to play football, and I hated it. I hated the smell of grass. I hated contact. I hated all that. Just the pressure of a helmet squeezing on my cheekbones. Like, oh, it was the worst thing. And I still remember to this day. I was in the 4th grade. My older brother was in the 5th grade, and for the camping trip at the end of the year, my older brother had to like sell a certain amount of chocolate bars. And if he met like the certain amount, he gets to go on the camping trip. So we're at practice, and just something came over me. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. So instead of me practicing, I took my shoulder pads off. I grabbed those chocolate bars and I started selling them to the parents watching their kids practice, and raised enough money to send my brother on that trip. So that was my first time playing football and my first time quitting football. Then, fast forward, I just played basketball middle school and then high school, and then my junior year, I was like, I'm gonna try football again. All the coaches were like, man, who's this big, tall black dude walking around the school not playing football? You need to get on that field. So, I finally went out there, and, I don't know, I just had to change of heart. And I started kind of liking it a little bit. I still like basketball better, but I was doing my thing on the field. I was playing safety, was doing my thing. Then, colleges started rolling in, watching our spring practices, and then I ended up getting a scholarship to Texas Tech. Went there, and it was just like, college just went by so fast. Like, it was just like a sprint, and then everything just started becoming easy to me. Like, I started learning the game. I'm working out. Like, everything was easy. Like, I'll get to the workout, and I'm like, man, it's easy. Instead of me drinking water, I'm drinking Kool-Aid. Like, it's like I'm doing everything right, but it was just like I'm cutting corners. Like, my nutrition wasn't great. I wasn't hydrating, drinking water and stuff like that, but I was still dogging people on the field. So I'm like, man, this is easy. Like, I'm going to the league, Senior year, all Big 12, all that great, good stuff, tackles, turnovers, all that great stuff. And then draft day comes. Day 1, I knew I wasn't going first round, so cool. Fly by that. Day 2, all right, still no call. I had a girlfriend at the time, so I'm just sitting on my bed watching, the draft, like waiting on my phone to ring. Now day 3 hits, name doesn't get called. I'm like, I'm calm, I'll get like a rookie tryout or something like that, because some of my teammates, like college teammates, they're like getting phone calls and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm better than them, so I'm going to get there. No call. Then day after day 3, No call. Only call I made was to T-Mobile to be like, "Hey, is my phone working?" Because I ain't got a call from the NFL, no team, no nothing. And at that moment, I was just like, "Man, what's next?" I literally like my brain just switched over. I was like, "I don't care about football. What is next?"
Yeah.
And my major in college was criminology, so I was like, I'm gonna try to do this top thing. So I was in Lubbock, Texas at the time. That's in West Texas, and I went and had an interview with Midland PD. Went out there, they were strict, so they're like, nah. I guess I wasn't cut for it. Then I moved back into the house, into my parents' house in Dallas, and then I went and tried out for Arlington PD. They made me shave like everything in my face. Yeah. I don't got much facial hair now, but they made me shave mustache. Then they made me shave my eyebrows just to not give me the job. So I'm like, wow. Yeah. And then that's why I ended up going to Dallas PD. They're cool there. I still know some officers out there. Yeah, so I was in it, and then I don't know, something just came over me. I was like, I just can't imagine like whenever I get a family, like every day waking up going to work, I may not make it home. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. The fact that I might have to take somebody's life, or somebody might take my life, it just ain't sit well with me. And then I quit that, and then I started working a job at Foot Locker. That was probably the most humbling job ever because you talk about a kid in high school who barely played football. Then I'm getting all these scholarships. I was kind of cocky in high school a little bit. I was Mr. I got it, and then I go to college, like, oh, I'm D1. I go back home, I'm partying and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm in college, I got a scholarship. Now, all those same people I was stunting on in high school, they come to see me at Foot Locker.
Oh, man.
And they're like, yo, you the same one that was, flexing these scholarships, and now you getting my shoes and ringing me up. And I'm like, touche, touche. So, I did that for like 6 months. Then I ended up quitting. I was like, man, I want to try to do football again. So, I got back in the gym. I was working out and stuff. And I was working out so much at a Fitness Connection in Garland. They actually wanted to give me a job there. They're like, hey, you're always here working out. We'll give you a job. But the job wasn't to be a personal trainer. It was to sell personal training. So I had the look of a trainer. Yeah. So I was like, oh, cool, and I'm getting people off the floor, old folks, getting them off the floor, putting them through a workout, killing them. And then I bring them to my office, sit them down, be like, hey, I got a deal for you here, like, blah, blah, blah. Get them on the deal. And, they're locked in for a deal for a year. So, I was basically a salesman. And then one of my good friends I went to college with, he told me about the CFL because he tried out for the CFL. He was like, I mean, you could try that, but a lot of people didn't have a lot of good things to say about the CFL because there's a ratio thing. Like they favor the Canadians out there more than Americans. But I was like, man, this is all I got. Like this is the last leg I got. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I looked up workouts online, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders were coming to Dallas to do an open workout. Now, these open workouts, it could be you can only play high school football, college, anybody. You could just got off your shift at Canes, and you can go do the workout as long as you pay that $100. So I was like,
it's
okay,
usually
cool.
A money grab.
Yeah, definitely it's a money grab. And this one I knew was a money grab. So I get up there, I got my $100. I was like, I'm about to set myself apart from everybody else here. I had highlight tape, like I had my little CD-ROM, my highlight tape from college or whatever. So I meet him, Coach Jones. He was the head coach and general manager at the time. He's there. I was like, how you doing, Coach Jones? Here's my $100. I was like, also, I got a highlight tape. If you want to pop that in, just to take a look at it. I went to Texas Tech, yada, yada, yada. He grabbed it, turned around, put it on a stack of other highlight tapes. And I was like,
damn. And it's probably, how big was the stack?
I mean, it was about yay high. Like, it was a lot of, back then, it wasn't all, we didn't have the Bluetooth. It was all like CD-ROM, highlight tapes, hard copies. So I was like, okay. He just gave me a number, taped it on my shirt. I was like, all right. But then, during the workout, I just outworked everybody. I was taking every single rep. Like, guys were going in the back, Linda. I'm like, I'll take another rep. Hey, I'll take another rep. And I didn't know nothing about the waggle. Like, they get a running start, the receivers and stuff. So that was new to me. But, I'm locking dudes up. And I'm a backtrack. It was crazy because the day of that workout, it was Sunday. I'm God fearing man, whatever. My daddy always makes sure we go to church every Sunday. So that Sunday, I had the workout, and my dad was like, we're not gonna go to church. We're gonna go to this workout. So I'm laying in my bed. I was like, I don't feel good. Let's just go to church, daddy. And he's like, nah, let's go to the workout. I was like, man, I don't feel good. He's like, man, come on, let's just go do this workout. Let's just see how it is. And if you don't want to do it, you don't got to do it. And I still thank him to this day that I went to that workout because they ended up signing me after the workout. Let me go to mini camp in April. Killed it out there in mini camp. Signed me to the roster. And then I ended up being out there for, 3 years. So it was just like, at that moment, I could have just laid in bed, like, just
Yeah.
like, forget it, I'll go to another workout. But, my dad kind of saved me on that. Like, the timing of it was crazy.
Bro, again, every time I hear that story, and this is my third time hearing it, I get goosebumps, man. Just because I feel like we're always one decision away from something like incredibly big, life changing to happen to us. And I think what I love about that is like you didn't quit, and you have people around you that didn't let you quit.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things I want to go over. So, bro, coming out of high school to go play at Texas Tech, which is a huge stadium, that whole environment, and to not get a call, like what, like I'm sure you processed it through. What were some of the things that went through your head of why you didn't get a call?
Like I said earlier, all I could think about was I doing everything right? Those days where I knew I was underweight and we had to weigh in, and I was one of the people that are on the weight gain program. They're like, oh, hey, you got to be 222. And I knew I was 216. I'll go into the weight room, get a weight vest, pop out like the little pounds inside the weight vest, and stick it inside my pants.
Yeah.
Get on the scale. Oh, I'm 223. They're like, oh, you're doing good.
Yeah.
They're giving me the protein shakes I need to be killing before the workout and after the workout. I'm like, throwing it. I feel like, there's always somebody watching. Like when you think nobody's watching, there's always somebody watching. So I feel like I just cut a lot of corners, like even just nutrition. Like we had a training table. Um, after our workouts, like they had chicken, broccoli, steamed rice, all the good stuff. I'm like, man, I'm not eating this. Hey, let's go to Popeyes. Stuff like that. Now it didn't show up on the field, but I just feel like now the way I am now, like how I'm so deliberate and intentional on everything that I do now, I just always think of what I was doing in college. Like why? Like why was I doing that? Why did I choose to go to Popeyes instead of taking the healthy food that they're giving us? Why did I choose to drink Kool-Aid during the workouts and laugh at guys throwing up? And I'm like, oh, I'm drinking Kool-Aid and I'm killing this workout. Like, why was I doing that? Like, what athlete would I be today if I wasn't cutting those corners, if I was actually like, dotting on my I's and crossing on my T's? So I feel like not that the NFL saw that, but it's just like internally, I wasn't ready for the NFL at that time. And I'm glad I didn't go to the NFL at that time because who knows what would have happened if I got to the NFL at age 21, 22. I probably would have pissed off the dream.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole Foot Locker thing, man, that's extremely humbling. Like, how did you manage that to go play every Saturday in front of like 20,000 fan to just like, well, now I'm back, have like you say it was the most humbling thing. Like, how do you find a way to cope with that? Because I think most of the time life and God put things in perspective for us just to kind of bring us down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then from there, that way he can start building us back up. So what that whole process, like the whole 6 months, how do you talk yourself off the ledge and you're still showing up to the shift every single day?
Honestly, that was probably the darkest time in my life. Like I've had some dark times, but like, damn, it was just like I felt like I was in a tunnel and I was never gonna get out. And the only way I felt like I wasn't like I felt like I was just coasting. Like I was just like, it is what it is. Like this is what I'm doing. I didn't even think about football. I didn't think about anything because I just quit the police academy and now I'm working at Foot Locker. So I'm just like, maybe this is it. So that's when something just clicked. Something just clicked like going into like New Year's. This was 2015, going into 2016 New Year's. I was like, I'm not. I'm not gonna grow if I just stay here. Like I had to just quit. Like I just gotta like dry quit. And that's what I did. And that's when like my brain started churning like what's next, what's next? Because when I was working at Foot Locker, I never thought about what was next. It was just clock in, clock out. And every day I came home and I see my mom and she was like, there's just a look of disappointment, like, because I wasn't the smartest kid.
Mhm.
You know, I'm Nigerian, so like my parents are real like big on school. Like, focus on your studies, focus on your studies, face your books, face your books, face your books. And like my older brother, my older sister, they're straight A students. Like I wasn't. I had all the alphabets in my grades. So it was kind of like my mom just seeing like my life was just like a roller coaster. Like, okay, he's coasting to school. Oh, scholarship. Oh, everybody's happy. Now I'm working at Foot Locker. So it was just like, just seeing her face, like, yeah, I'm letting my mom down. I gotta find a way to get it.
Your parents first generation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So like, dude, I'm first generation, so I know the whole thing is like my parents were working nonstop, like 3, 4 jobs, like no weekends off, and then there's no worse feeling when you bring home a report card and you didn't do well, bro. It's almost like it's probably the biggest disappointment I
yeah,
think is, and like the look they give you, like it. Like children of immigrants would know this look because
yeah,
it hurts deeply. I'd rather just them like yell at me and disown me, but
yeah.
that look is worse, bro. Like
Yes,
it's
like
like
that is literally fit. That's like worse than getting a whooping. Like
yeah,
knowing you disappointed your parents, knowing how hard they worked when they came to this country,
yeah.
and they say, I brought you into this world to take you to school. You got all these opportunities, and you're pissing it away. Like, oh my, that
Damn,
burns, that
bro.
burns.
Going back because I love the fact that you own it to like things came to you easy because we have kids who like doing so well, like 4 or 5 star recruits. Like some kids are throwing like 90 miles per hour at the age of like 16. Things come easy to them. Did you think that because you were blessed and things came easy to you, that's kind of forced you to kind of take an easy route because you didn't have to work that hard?
Yeah, it was. I love sports. Like I
Mm,
loved always being outside, and I love competing. I just, I really just don't understand how. Like I was always an underdog, like coming up, but then when I got to college, like I don't know why I just felt like I just had it. Cause I mean, I was doing good, and yeah, that really just hurt me. Like I was just like because every day was easy to me. I was working hard, but it was just like, am I really working hard, or am I just better than
mm.
everybody? And I don't know. Like I was kind of caught in between. So
When do you start seeing like the fruit of your labor start paying off? When you're like, all right, I'm gonna start locking in, and this is the result that I'm looking to get. Because that's just the whole change in mindset in general.
I think it was in 2017. I think 2017. That was my second year in the CFL. So when I got there, I still kind of had that same mindset of like, oh, this is easy. I got it because my
Mm.
first 6 games, like, I'm killing. Like, I'm all CFL everything. I'm like stud rookie. Where did this guy come from? Like, I'm smacking dudes, like making big plays, forced fumbles. And I was like, oh, here we go again. Like I'm
Mm.
I'm really doing it. Boom. And I tear my knee. I tore my MCL. Sat out for the rest of the year. Come back 2017, and I didn't have. I wasn't starting no more because a dude got released from the NFL and came to my team and he played my position. So I'm his backup, or we're like pretty much rotating. I'm just like, wait a second. I'm in the CFL, not starting. What are the odds of me going to the NFL? That's what I was thinking. So it was at that moment I was like, I got to do something. Like whatever I'm doing isn't enough. It's just not enough, and I'm never going to think that it's enough. Like I'm never satisfied because I know the moment I relax, somebody's not. And that year, I started. I'm working, I'm working, and I started seeing the dude in front of me relaxing, and that's when I started turning up even more. And then I ended up starting towards the end of the year. Boom, caught my first like pick. It was in a playoff game. Caught my first pick or whatever. And then after that year was done, I go back home. Now my dad's like real sick. Um, he had a stroke or whatever, so he was inside of the hospital for like a long time. And I'm like, my daddy used to run outside with us barefoot, play basketball with us, kick the soccer ball with us, and like he just did a complete 180. Like I'm like, yo, this is the same person. Like, and my mom, like, both my parents are old, and my brother got his situation, stuff like that. I was like, man, I can't leave. Like, I can't go back for my third year. Like, I gotta stay home and, stay down for my family. But my dad, like, as sick as he was, he begged me to go back. Like, he's like, no, I still remember when I took you to that workout. Like, you got 1 year left. Like, I promise you, I'll be okay. Like, you go back, and like something just triggered in me. Like that whole off season, I was making meal prep, like selling meal preps. I was driving Uber because we ain't make much money in the CFL. So like the checks were getting a year check that I was making the CFL was like half of a game check in the NFL now. So I'm making ends meet, like getting cash here and there, and I'm just like grinding, like eating clean, drinking a gallon of water every day, like doing 3 workouts a day. Like I do my paid training session, and I'll do my own 2 sessions just on my own. And I go back in that 2018 season and have the best season of my life. Like I'm like so locked in. I don't care about nothing else in the world. I'm not watching NFL football. I'm only watching CFL football. I'm only watching who's the best linebacker in CFL. All right, boom. All right, I'm better than him. All right, now I'm gonna be the best linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like in the CFL, I'm gonna be the best defensive player in the CFL. I want to be the best player in the CFL. Like, and I'm just going through that. Like, I'm not focused on, oh man, I'm better than this dude in the league, or oh, who's going to play on the NFL. I didn't care. Like I couldn't tell you like nothing. And I don't think that was like the year Mahomes first got into the league or something like that. But I couldn't tell you nothing that was going on in the NFL. I was so locked in on the CFL that year. And then yeah, I had a great year, great stats, and that's when all the NFL teams started calling me and my agent, and I started hitting workouts from there.
Bro, so I feel like the note I wrote down is like 2018. You feel like you truly turned pro,
Yeah.
right? Because I tell kids and parents all the time, it's like for you to be professional, you have to turn professional first, like mentally, right? So you start setting up goals, right? You start blocking out all the noise. You have all this tunnel vision, and this is great because if you have a singular focus, right, then you know what you need to chase. Thing that you wrote down for yourself in 2018 that you want to accomplish, that you actually accomplished.
Be the best CFL linebacker in 2018. And I had great roommates to help me accomplish that because we all wrote them down. We all wrote down our goal. I lived with 2 linebackers and a DB. The DB, he played like 7, 8 years in the NFL. Chris and Butler, shout out Chris. Uh, the other linebacker, he was my age. He was at Oklahoma State. Kind of same story I did. Didn't get no NFL opportunity, and then he came to the CFL. And then my other roommate Toby, he kind of had the same story as me too. No NFL opportunity, so came to the CFL. And we just made a pact, man. We just made a pact, like football first. Like we don't care about partying or nothing like that. Wasn't nothing to do out there. Let's get that straight. I was in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. There was nothing to do out there. But every day we're just so intrigued with learning more about ball.
Mhm.
Our work day in the CFL was like from 8 to maybe 1. Work day in the NFL is 8 to 5, 8 to 5:30. So it was 8 to 1. And from 1 to like 5 or 6, we're just watching tape. Just watching tape. Like, oh, every time this running back has his feet staggered, it's a draw. Okay. But every time he's on the right side and his feet are staggered, they're doing pullers this way. Like, we're just so locked in on every single team. Like, there was no formation you could come out in and that we didn't know. Like, and we're over there laughing on defense. Like, we're laughing like, wow, you think it's this play? All right, I'm about to blitz. Like, boom. And it's just happening. Like, I was like, wow. That's why I really felt like I truly turned pro. Like, everything was just clicking. I'm like, so this is what I was missing when I was in college.
Mm, yeah, and so I mean, one thing too, like for people to listen, like the ratio in the CFL is what? How many percentage of Canadian player needs to be on the field?
You 7 have to start.
Yeah.
So you can mix it up. You can have 5 on offense, 2 on defense. but you just shake it up however you want to shake it up. So the reason why people kind of bash the CFL, like American players kind of bash the CFL, is because as crazy as it sounds, the competition is actually higher there than the NFL because in the NFL, like, okay, I play linebacker. There's three linebacker positions. There's Sam, Mike, Will. Okay. I want to play Mike. Ah, man, I can't. I can't beat out CJ Mosley. Let me go try and play Will. Yeah. You know, me and Quincy battling for a spot. But in CFL, you got your Mike and you got your Will. Depending on the team that you play on, some CFL teams be like, all right, we want our Mike linebacker to be Canadian. So now, if me and you are both American or whatever, we're fighting for one linebacker spot. Even if I'm better than that Canadian dude, that Mike, that's a Canadian position. So it's not like, you ain't better than him. Why can't I? Mm-mm. You got to be better than that American at that one spot. So, and if you don't start, you probably on practice roster or whatever because there's not enough space on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, you're right because if you're a Canadian player and you're decent, you're locked in. You're kind of set because they just need people to be there to rotate. And I love that you brought that up because there's so many college guys that we work with. I was like, bro, you got to go. At the league's not calling, go to CFL. At least try that out. And they do the same thing. They poo-poo the CFL. And I was like, bro, I promise you, it's really hard because the game is different. And like you said, the spot is so limited that you're competing against all the other guys that didn't make it to the league. They're all coming up there, right? So everyone's like, it's like a gold mine, right? It's like a gold rush. People are going up there because they want to get film, and then so from there they can go to the league. Yeah. So, dude, so you got rewarded in 2018, off season. Team started calling you. What was that whole process like? Preparing the adaptation from going to CFL to going to the league.
Oh man, it was crazy. Like I felt like I didn't sleep in 30 days. I want to say I had like 16 workouts in the span of like 35 days.
Wow.
Like I'm going from Cincinnati to Pittsburgh to Chicago to Cleveland to Miami to LA. Like I'm just zooming, just living out of a suitcase, getting IVs, like just doing these quick workouts, getting evaluated. And sometimes I'm the only person there on the workout, so there's no break. Mm-hmm. Um, and yeah, I was just like, yo, this is a lot. Like I wasn't answering nobody's phone calls because all my people they want updates, but it's like I don't want to update nobody until I sign a piece of paper. Mm. Yeah, I was doing like a ton load of workouts, and then finally, when I finally finished all of them, Miami was always on my brain. Like I was like, man, I really like that place. I like the coach that put me through the workout, and I also like the food that they had in the cafeteria. So I ended up coming down to Miami and Arizona, and both of them had no state tax. Both of them were offering the same amount of like guaranteed money, and then it was crazy because my college head coach Cliff Kingsbury, he was about to be an NFL coach, and he had interviews with Miami and Arizona at the time. So I was like, okay, well, I could flip. It's kind of like I flipped the coin, but I'm thinking like, oh, Kingsbury, young, cool guy. He got to go to Miami. So I was like, call Miami. I was like, hey, yeah, let's do it. 2 days later, he signs Arizona. I was like, cool, but yeah.
Bro, the whole trial process too. Like people don't know that it is intense because you get flown in, you stay in a hotel, you wait what. Bro, they can fly you in at like 10 o'clock at night. And then you get up at what, 6?
6.
Yep.
Then you come, do like your physical, do all that medical stuff. You're sitting in a medical room for hours. And they're like, all right, you're clear. All right, boom, go work out. Sometimes I like it when I show up and I work out, then they take you through the physical. But some teams want you to do the physical before the workout. So, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And the workout only lasts 15 minutes, may last 5 minutes if they're like, okay, yeah, he got it. Like, okay, he's healthy. Is he clean? All right, cool.
So now, talk me through about your first season in Miami. What was the mindset shift? How do you attack that?
I was still in sprint mode. Like I was like, I'm here. I'm not making no friends. I don't care what nobody's saying. Like, guys are already there. Like young dudes. Like I'm considered a rookie or whatever. And they're like, man, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 26. Are you 26? Man, I'm like, hey, look, I'd rather be 26 going in the league than 26 going out the league. That's what I
Yeah,
just kept telling people. But yeah, I did. I came in there and I started doing OTAs with them, and I was just like, I don't know, like I just had tunnel vision. Like again, I wasn't making no friends. I was just grinding, man. Like I don't know what came over me, but I was just making plays, like just out physicaling people, and that's what I was with Brian Flores, and he's that type of coach. So yeah, they really liked that, and then I started moving up in the ranks, and yeah, I had a pretty good rookie season. Um, but yeah, it was very different because I'm coming from the CFL, and it's all passing space. The field is 65 yards wide, and it's just a lot of passing and running. Now come to the AFC East, the Miami Dolphins. They're using the New England Patriots style ball. Patriots in the division. We got the Jets. The Dolphins. Like wasn't Bills. I didn't know what 21 personnel was. I didn't know what 12 personnel. I didn't know nothing about and I'm like, oh, gap, like stack my three technique. They ain't teach us that in the CFL, and I didn't know any of that stuff in college because again, I was just using my athleticism. So I had to like relearn like real football, like quarterback under center football. Like I wasn't used to that. In the Big 12, it was all pass, air raid. CFL definitely is all pass, only three downs. So like that was a huge learning curve for me. But I learned it though, and yeah, I had a good rookie year.
bro. At which moment when you actually realize like, okay, hey, I belong here in this league, even though it took me X amount of year to get here. Was there a moment where it's like solidified, like, all right, yeah, this is where I belong?
Hmm. I'll say 2021 training camp. That was like I literally walked into that season and said, I'm going to be the starting linebacker on this team. I don't care who they brought in. I don't care what the names are. I'm going to be the starting linebacker this year. And I still got tape of that training camp. Like even before I go out to practice for training camp now, like I'll be looking at my old film like I need that dog. Like let me bring that dog out to the field today. Cause I was just out working everybody, man. Like hitting guards, fullbacks. Like I just couldn't be stopped. Then even covering, doing one on ones, joint practices, and then I ended up getting COVID. So COVID was still for it was 2021. So I ended up having like a false positive COVID test. We had a joint practice versus the Falcons. I'm like, dang, I couldn't practice the whole week. So I'm just on Zoom calls, like just looking at the practice and stuff like that. Then I ended up getting cleared the day of the game. And I'm like, well, the night before the game, I was clear to play. So I was like, oh, they're probably not going to play me because I didn't practice. And Josh Boyer told me, he was like, yeah, you're fresh legs. You ain't practice all week, so expect to play the entire game. I was like, playing the entire game in the preseason is tough because you got to play all four special teams. And, I'm playing Mike linebacker. So, like, I'm talking, putting my mouthpiece in and out. Like, that's a lot. And I ended up getting like 11 tackles, 4 sacks, a safety, and a PBU in that game. And I was like, I'm him. Like, I'm here. Like, that's when I knew I was like, I can do this. So, I,
Bro. And how does that set the tone for the rest of that season?
I don't even want to get into that. I started the first game of the year. We were playing the Patriots. Had a great game. I don't know how many times I had, but I had 4 quarterback hits, 2 TFLs, a special team tackle, and a pass breakup. Great game. We win. The very next game, I don't start no more.
Wow. I mean, that's one thing that I can't, and I hear it all the time, right? Because there's something that it's out of your control, right? Whether it's coaching decision, politics, or whatever it is. Because one thing I've learned, getting close to 10 years being in this field is that guys can be prepared, be ready, but at the end of the day, there's someone else that even make decision above the coach, right? And you can like they can just make a call next year, you're like, okay, but going back to that, you work your butt off. You had great first game. How do you stay sane and just still have faith that like, okay, I might not get started now, but I can't lose hope. I work all this hard. Like what was the talk that go through your head to keep you going?
I always just look at where I came from. Like, yeah, it hurt. Like, it burned. Like, I'm like, there's no way. Like, and we get blown out the next game. So I'm like, there's no way that I just play 0 snaps this game. If I'm coming off the preseason, like before that preseason game, I had like 2,000 followers, and I ended up getting like 10K followers after that one game. I'm like, bro, let's go. Like, but I just got to look back. Where was I? Foot Locker, Police Academy, driving Uber, making meal prep, $100 workout, highlight tape, behind a dude rotating the CFL. I'm like, if you were to, if you were to ask the 22-year-old me, hey, you know you're going to be in the NFL one day and you're going to be sad about your position in the NFL. 21-year-old me will probably slap the hell out of 26-year-old, 27-year-old me, like crying about the position I'm in. And that's what would just keep me going. Like, you guys, all my old teammates, like every day I walk into the locker room, I'd be like, dang, we in the NFL. Literally, I'm like, we're in the NFL. Like, not many people can be here. So it's like any position I'm in, when I walk between the white lines, like I'm blessed. Like, I know a lot of people can't do this. So I'll just, yeah, it sounds crazy, but I had to psych myself out. But that's the only way you can stay like relevant in the league. That's the only way you could really like stay in the league. Because I've seen a lot of guys cry about their position or mad that they're in practice roster and stuff like that. And 2 weeks later, they're gone. And now they doing cone drills on Instagram, begging for a call. But it's like you were in the door crying, and now you waking up super early in the morning doing all these drills. But during the season, you're the last guy walking in right before 8 o'clock meeting starts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to have that same gutter mindset when you're in the building, bro. And that's how people like Aaron Donald, Fred Warner, like those guys stay in the league and stay like at the top because I don't really know them personally, but I know their mindset got to be like on a whole nother level, and that's why they are who they are.
Yeah, that's so funny, man. There's this one phrase, like every time I go to like a difficult situation, I always just say, just remember we pray for this time like this, right?
Yeah.
Meek Mills, right?
Yeah.
You used to pray for times like this. And that doesn't mean that you're so grateful for the opportunity you have, which is the best place to be, right? Because I mean, I'm sure when you were at the CFL, how many times guys come up to you like, bro, I used to do this in the NFL, now I'm over here. They're not grateful for that opportunity that they have because they just think like, well, I used to do this back in the day. I always bring up, and no disrespect, one of the best running back coming out of college was Trent Richardson, right? First round.
I played with Trent.
Bro, Trent was him. Heisman, all that stuff. He was in the league for a few years, and then he up in Canada and just kind of vanished, right? Sometimes it's so hard to. I think the hardest thing is how do you pull yourself back up when you're when you're trending down, right? Because that's the biggest part. And I think your approach of like measuring where you were before to get to where you are now, I think that can keep you humble and B keep you hungry.
Yeah.
Right now, on the day to day, just from a practical standpoint, for like the kids that listen to this, what's something that you're doing now besides obviously eating and then being really meticulous with your film? What else are you doing that you wish the 22-year-old version of you would have started done like a long time ago?
Thank you, Dr. Natty. Taking care of my body.
Yeah.
Definitely taking care of my body. And I wish I would have just done this way earlier because there's so many like lingering, just dumb nicks and knacks that's going on, like my knee, my back, and stuff like that. I'm like, when I was 22, 23, like, I'm fresh, fish out of water. Like, I can do anything. I just wish, because I saw guys doing it, and I used to clown those guys, like, man, you're 21 years old. Like, what are you doing? Like, even now, like, I still make fun of some of the guys in the training room every day. I'm like, you know what I was doing when I was 22? Not in here. But no, I definitely would say, like, take care of your body, man. You only get one. You only get one. And I mean, your body is your moneymaker. Like, I can't do nothing without my body. That's one thing. And like you said, just be grateful of where you're at. Because like you said about Trent Richardson, you're at the top of the top and now you're, at the CFL. My mindset is, okay, yeah, like I'm not where I was, but I'm here. It could always be worse. Do I want to go even lower than the CFL? That's the only thing that's going to keep you going. Like, if if I don't appreciate what I got right now, God's gonna take it from me, and I might be somewhere even lower. So let me maximize this opportunity I got right now. Who knows if I get back to the NFL, but I know I'm not gonna go lower than the CFL. Like even just in life, like all lost this job, now I'm working this job. You don't want to put yourself down. You don't want to think negative thoughts because, like I said, God will take that from you, and then you'll be somewhere even worse. And then you just gonna keep going down the totem pole.
Yeah. So another thing too, man, your support group, your support system, it seems like you have such your family, your friends. How do you start weaning off some of the people that you know does not help you get to where you need to be, especially with your goal?
Um, I think with me, it just like naturally people just kind of weaned off of me because they seen the path that I was going, and they just knew like you can't touch me. Like I'm doing this, you're doing that. Like it just ain't going. And I don't even have to have a conversation with them. It's like they can see it, they can smell it, they can taste it. Like yeah, he's like it's not that I'm just outgrowing you. It's just we just going in two different directions. And there's no hard feeling or anything like that. But it's like it's obvious, like I can't be moving like that no more. So you just gotta. I tried not to like even like when the off season starts. I try not to like stretch myself east and west, like trying to see everybody, trying to meet everybody. Like oh yeah, I got you. Okay, I'll be out there. If people really want to, see you, they'll come to you. Like the right people. So I never like try to get out of my way or like stretch myself too much to go and see somebody.
Yeah. And then now, dude, what is something about being a professional athlete now that you think it's going to serve you into the future that you think like, all right, if I just keep doing this two or three things, I'm going to be here and I would probably have an opportunity to just hang up my own cleats rather than just like people taking that away from me.
Invest your money. Literally gotta hide your money. I remember my rookie year, so I'm coming from, the CFL to obviously the NFL. Um, I had to manage my money really good in the CFL. Um, and that's where I knew like I'm so glad that I got to the NFL when I was 26 rather than 22 because only God knows what I would have did with a $35,000 game check every week. Like I blow it. But I do remember my rookie year, October. Man, I spent so much money in 1 month, and after that, like, I don't even want to say the number. Lord, because my mommy might see this and have a heart attack. When I seen that number, that's when I just changed everything. I said, okay, this can't happen because I don't know how long this NFL thing's gonna last, but I know if I just hide this money for myself and I can't see it or touch it, I ain't gonna spend it. If I see it, I'm gonna spend it just naturally. Like that's just the human thing. So that's the number one thing. Invest um, and just be your best. Just be available. That's what I notice a lot when guys, kind of like feather out of the league. They just weren't available. It's rare that I see a guy that's always been healthy, can do a full 17 games, no injuries, play special teams. Those guys stay in the league for a long time. And I don't really got a lot of paperwork on injuries, knock on wood. Um, for teams to look at and be like, oh, he's injury prone or, because I'm getting up there in age, but it's like, it's really not a stain on me. So it's like, this dude is durable. So that's the main thing, like, just staying healthy. But, being healthy nowadays is like, takes a little bit of luck, because a lot of guys just go down from freak accidents. But like, the two main things is availability and, investing your money or just
Bro,
hiding your money from
yeah,
yourself.
the availability thing is huge because I tell kids and parents all the time, like, if you want your kids to go Division 1 or play, like, they have to be available.
Yeah.
And another thing too, if you're available and someone in front of you went down, that's your shot.
Yep.
But if you're not ready, then that's it. And I love your approach so much because I text you before games and after games all the time, checking how you're doing. And then not once have you ever like have like a shitty text where like, oh man, this didn't go my way. This you're like, yo, yep, I'm good. Yep, yeah, special team was good today. This and that. Like, and that's what I love because any opportunity you have on the field, you really take it. no matter what, right? And then you just never know, if you want to be in the league for a long time, you need to be able to show your value to the team, because your value could be like, all right, well, he's a dog on special team, and he can play linebacker. And if another guy is competing for the same spot, but he can only play linebacker, he can't do special team,
Exactly.
right? So that's one thing I was like, because like 53-man roster is tough. Yeah, it's tight, man. And then like the hardest thing too, like, and for me, like I take it personal, because when we work with guys, especially off season, we know them, we share meals together, we do all these stuff. And then when guys get let go and get released to another team, like that kills me because you don't get to see guys like, but at the end of the day, you can still thank God for FaceTime, right? So that's the biggest thing. So bro, last question I have for you. What do you want your legacy to be?
It's a broad question. It's a very unique question. Football wise or just in life?
Life.
Um, I want to be able to reach out to like the youth. Like, I really want to get into like motivational speaking, hear my story. Even when I'm saying my own story, like it gets me the chills. And I just, I want to reach out to like youth, man. I always want to be a helping hand. Like, I want to be that guy that everybody can depend on. I want to be that guy that's never changing. Like, exactly the type of person you're going to get when it comes to me. Like, I don't want anything to be wishy washy with me. Just super dependable, man. Like, if you need me, I'm one or two calls away. Sometimes I'll miss a call in there. But yeah, man, I just want to be that person that everybody goes to. Like, when you're down, I find a way to pick you up. Even when I'm down, like, I'll find a way to pick myself up, like by picking somebody else up. That'll lift my own spirit. So I just want to be a dependable vessel in everybody's life.
I love it, man. Do you have a favorite verse or anything that you want to share?
Nah, I ain't so many, man. But nah, I can't think of none at the top of my head right now.
No, that's all good, man. And dude, thank you so much for your time. And again, I'm so happy we're able to do this, because I know this podcast is going to reach so many of the young athletes, the parents, and just kind of give them like the insight on what it's like, because people only see outside looking in. They see your Instagram story, they see what you do and all of that stuff, but behind the scene, that's what's really hard. And people just assume that you make it to the league, life is easy and breezy and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all human.
Yeah.
We're still with our own issues, and we're still processing things. And I just appreciate you taking the time to share your story, A, and B, just live out, like, give us a lot of gem for like these kids to just like live by. So I appreciate that so much, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, let's take a bro. That was fucking great.